kind of a rambly video, social study video, talking to a wall video. Another thought about Japan, you know what I mean, just because I think it's psychologically interesting. And I don't know how I should segue into this, but, because I was thinking about a lot about the way, kind of like human interactions in Japan, relationships in Japan, kind of what I was talking about, how I thought this was the most interesting thing to me. This particular trip when I went to Japan, observing this more, you know, kind of, I don't know how you would describe it, almost kind of like and I appreciated it, but kind of like a sort of a sad freedom, a sort of a gentle sadness of freedom to do whatever you want. I'm not sure how I would explain it. It's sort of a melancholy kind of freedom. I'm not sure how you would exactly explain it. And I want to preface this, of course, that again, I'm going to be all over the place with this. When I talk about when people are nice, of course, in life, and I've always given this example, I think to say you're truly nice, you have to be nice in a way that you're nice in a way that it doesn't benefit you, right? Because lots of people can be, quotation marks, nice if it benefits them, right? That's like my judgment. That's why and I've talked about these in my other vlogs when I talk about psychology and stuff like this. One of the things that, unfortunately for me, that ruined me is that trying to be the best version of what I thought was the best person ruined my life, right? Always trying to be the best person. I've done so many nice things, that didn't benefit me, right? You know what I mean? If anything, it made me feel worse. I've told the story of man, I think the last homeless guy that I was not hanging out with, but I went and talked to him and everything like that. And man, dude, I just felt, I just hated myself after it. Because I was like, you know what? I think I told the story, I got him some food, basically. I gave him some food. And he's like, yeah, but I can't have, if you don't give me any milk, I can't eat this cereal. And I was just like, why the fuck am I doing this, dude? And I was like, dude, no, this isn't doing anything. I don't feel good helping people. No one cares that I'm fucking helping this random person. And I've told other stories man, again, most people I guess watch my videos because of video game shit now. I've told the story, look at me, I've done a lot of nice things for video games when I knew it was gonna I knew it was gonna hurt me. Remember I again, cliche story is the Tom Ass story. I knew people weren't gonna be happy when I helped Tom Ass, but it was the morally right thing to do, right? And people hated me for it, right? But I knew it was the right thing to do. And of course, years later, it was proved I was right, you know what I mean? And all these other dudes were the scam artists, but, just so many things like that throughout, my life, you know what I mean? So, of course, there is a bit of a selfishness because I guess there is a part of me that feels it is the right thing to do. So maybe it's selfish in some sort of way, I guess, right? Maybe I'm getting some benefit, but for the most part, there's no benefit of the nice things I have done in my life. That's how I would say I am a very morally comfortable person, I guess, right? But most people don't live their life like that, right? Most people are only nice if it benefits them, right? But something interesting about Japan, though, is that I've noticed Japan is, and this isn't that people aren't fake, right? I've noticed in Japan, and it wasn't just people being nice to me because, oh, Clayton, he has blonde hair, blue eyes, we're super nice to him. Ooh, we want to suck his dick, whatever, right? Of course, when I was in Japan, yes, I got stares, you know what I mean? But maybe more stares than I get when I'm in America, but even in America, I've had, extreme situations with girls and whoever it might be, right? You know what I mean? But and I'm sure certain things happen in Japan that wouldn't happen to a normal person to me. But I did notice, say, the Japanese with other people, I noticed a kindness that doesn't benefit them. Does that make sense? And that's not something that is common in America. And just going around, I've seen random people. No, don't get me wrong. I've seen some really fucked up people walking, and they looked like they needed help in Japan, and no one did shit for them, right? Okay, and I'm sure not. You know what I mean? But I have also seen extreme, over exaggerated will to help people almost, which doesn't really benefit you, right? It's just nice to the person. an example, say in America, I always go out of my way to hold the door open for people. I know I was at the store today. Man, some people were dropping things. I went and picked it up for them. I didn't have to go walk over. That's just me, dude, right? And I know it's not common because I can tell you a story. Actually, yesterday, I went and I held open a door for all these people. Didn't matter. It wasn't just girls. It wasn't just guys. And just that common courtesy is so rare in America. This dude came to me and he's like, dude, I don't remember what quote he said. He said, he's like, dude, you have so much swag. Like, I cannot believe how cool you looked when you just did that or something. Like, or he didn't say dude, he said bro. But that just goes to show you, like, he's like, wow, I can't believe you just went and, like, helped that person like that. You know, like, you just open these doors for these grandmas and all that. And he's like, and you looked so cool when you did that, bro. You know, just so swag or something like that. But the point is, that didn't benefit me because I'm not trying to fuck these grandmas or fuck any of these other people that I help. It was just a nice thing to do. But the point that, like, someone actually, like, stuck it out to me is like, that kind of thing isn't common. Now, I guess I can't say that I've gone around in Japan and seen people holding doors open for other people, but I have seen random acts of kindness, say, maybe generally, and there's even this idea in Japan of, like, you know, they have this, like, idea culturally of, like, gaman, you know what I mean, that you have to, from what I understand, I mean, I've never lived in Japan, I've been there before a couple of times now, and I've talked to people, and I've watched, like, documentaries, because I'm a nerd, right, and so I have experienced it also firsthand. Like, the idea of gaman is that, like, no matter what's going on with you, someone else is having a bad time too, so you got to, like, be there for them, right? You know what I mean? Even if it doesn't benefit you. There's all this like omoyori, you know what I mean? Like, consideration for others. You know, just this extreme. You picking up garbage. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I think I showed it. I don't know if I showed this video. I don't know if I put this video. You know what I saw in Japan? I saw a dude on a motorcycle. He was in the street, right? There was a pop can in the street when he was, like, on his motorcycle. While the light was stopped, he went on his motorcycle. He went a little bit back. He went and he picked up the pop can on the street. Everyone stopped their car for him. They didn't go. Took the pop can, drove all the way to, like, the garbage can that was, like, on the side of the road, put it in, then just, like, everyone just let him back into the, and it was just like everyone knew it was going to happen because that's just a sort of consideration. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we know someone fucked up, but this isn't benefiting me. I'm taking time out of my day. No one's going to remember that dude besides Clayton, I guess. Besides Clayton making a video talking about it, right? But there's that kind of kindness that, there goes my camera, kindness that doesn't really benefit anyone. And that's something that's interesting about in Japan too, right? And when I get about the idea of, like, and maybe it's because, you know, and my friend says too, Japan is a country full of basically betas, I guess, basically, right? For better or worse. There's not a lot of leaders in Japan, right? And that's not that I'm a leader, right? Some people think that I'm an alpha male or something like that because girls like me or some shit like that. Or, you know, and I definitely have, like, a lone wolf thing, but I'm not an alpha lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf scavenging for fucking food. Okay, so I'm definitely my own dude, but I'm not like an alpha male kind of dude, right? I do my own thing though, for sure. But, you know, even my friends describe Japan as a country full of, like, a lot of, you know, beta sort of people. There's not a lot of leaders. Maybe because of that, in certain areas, the culture is more prone to everyone helping each other because no one's leaders. And, you know, a lot of times you got leaders take advantage of people, right? For better or worse. When I've talked about people being insecure, even, like, there's the idea, like, some people are insecure that they take their life out on others. My insecurities, I've taken it out on myself. I've always wanted to be the best person I can be. And people say, oh, you're such an asshole. Dude, I can admit anything I say. Yeah, dude, I'm not friends with a bunch of people that talk shit about me. And if I heard they got cancer and died, what the fuck? I don't care. You've exposed me. I just said it again. Doesn't fucking matter to me, dude, right? Because I know I would never just go and talk shit and do stuff that people have done to me. Like, I've had fucking stalkers. I mean, come on, dude. It's just insane about that kind of stuff, right? I know I wouldn't treat people like that, how people have treated me, right? Anyway, so my insecurities, I took it out on myself. Maybe Japan, their culture, maybe their insecurity, they take it out on themselves, so they're always trying to be the best person, right? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to get at. But I appreciated that. Obviously, there's some things that Japan is better for, and there's probably some things that they're worse for. Again, as my friend said. country full of betas. There's not a lot of actual leaders in it, right? Also, if we're talking about sexually speaking, there's not a lot of people giving out dick in Japan as well for various reasons. But Japan is it's interesting because when I talk about the kind of freedom, because the freedom of that, no one has the balls to really do anything crazy, maybe it seems a lot of the time. But everyone still say it's just kind of like going at their own pace. And there's drastic differences. There's a drastic contrast when you're in the city and the age groups. There can be there can be drastic. You can just see it on their face and like their mood and their spirit. How much energy they have. You know what I mean? The contrast of Japan is very interesting, but it's all very kind of like a safe, sad. I don't know how to like everyone's just kind of like doing their thing and they're safe. And man, I wish I could describe it in a more eloquent way. It's just Japan is just so amazing that everyone is left to their own devices. Like as long as you're not hurting anyone, everything is okay. You know what I mean? And you think about relationships too. You think about like, boy, how common it is. Like, oh, hey, maybe my husband, my husband wants me to suck him off. I know he doesn't love me anymore, but I'm taking care of the child, I guess, basically. Let me suck him off. He's got some milk for me, whatever. And then he goes off, and you know what? I know he's probably fucking some other girls when he leaves. But that's kind of, we all have our own way to go in life, and we're not going to judge other people for better or worse, right? And my friend has told me, and of course, I'm sure people have again, I mean, again, as a nerd, I've watched some documentaries about Japan to see what's going on. And of course, I've had friends in Japan, and I've also seen this and experienced it to, a small degree, but enough to say that I can see that it is fact. You know what I mean? And my friend has said that, even for all the good things of Japan, but say some of the bad things are, you never know if you're having a real conversation with someone because people are too afraid to give their real opinion, right? You know what I mean? So maybe that is consideration in a bad way, but I would argue that as someone who is, again, and I've answered thousands and thousands of messages, right? I've gotten so many, I've interacted with probably literally, I guess you could say thousands of people, right? Again, I had thousands of messages just on one single site, and you know what? I answered as many messages as I could, probably over fucking thousands if you actually counted. You know what I mean? And I had conversations with just so many people. Nothing to gain me personally, besides, I guess, selfishly, because I got to another perspective of someone, right? But again, everyone's different in their own way, but at the same time, a lot of other people are always the same, right? I'll get into that for a second, but for real conversations, you know what I mean? I don't think it's necessarily different in Japan. Are you getting a real person? Because, again, America, people are using people in their own way as well, right? Everyone's trying to get something. Very few people are actually really friends with people in life, right? You know what I mean? There's this idea that you only have 5 real friends in life at any time. A lot of people are just acquaintances. Everyone's trying to use everyone, just like, it's very rare to meet people who aren't out to get something, who aren't out being even nice, right? Maybe you can have some more blunt conversations in America, but I would also argue, and again, I've talked to many people from different countries, there's this idea that sometimes people think when you're so honest, again, if you get to me, let's say an example, you can be so honest to a fault that it makes you seem suspicious, right? Because if you're so nice to someone, sometimes people think if you're being open and being blunt with someone, so I'm like, oh man, this person is being blunt and open with me because I'm special. So when they find out that you're actually just an honest person, period, that you're honest with everyone, then they don't feel special. And to cope with that, they can try to take it out on you and think that you actually have an ulterior motive, right? Like, oh, wait, he's actually nice to everybody? There's got to be something wrong. Like, at first, this person played with my feelings, because to be so open with someone, you can be like, oh, man, maybe I'm special. They must not be opening up to other people like this. And then if they found out, like, wow, this person has nothing to hide. Maybe, one, there's no mystery to them. If someone has nothing to hide, wow, there's no mystery, there's no game to them. Maybe it's not interesting. Or maybe another negative perspective, you might think like, oh, fuck, well, I'm not special. There's something else is going on here, right? Lots of different perspectives you could come at, but you can have like honest conversations in America too, but a lot of them, where did they go, right? Because a lot of people are just trying to get something out of someone. So that's why I've said, even if Japan is fake in its own way, I actually can appreciate the beta-ness of Japan, right? I can appreciate, because I'm not totally of the perspective the grass is greener on the other side, that everyone in America, just because everyone in America is more, not everyone, again, but just because generally people are more assholes, I guess, you know what I mean, and actually more open about trying to get something. I'm not necessarily, I guess, you probably get tired of it, just like I've gotten tired of it, right? So I appreciate the Japanese more kind of docile way of maybe it's a fake form of caring. I appreciated that, and I thought that was interesting to see the way that people care about each other. Because even if it's maybe fake, maybe even if it's because it's kind of sad because you can't express how you really feel, to have that sort of human, because I guess maybe humans we're all kind of, well, again, I'm kind of my own dude, I guess, which is and I'm not, again, not like an alpha kind of dude, but I'm my own kind of lone wolf kind of dude, I guess. But there's this idea that human are pack creatures, right? So the idea that Japan, like, people are such a society, right? We live in a society, right? This idea that people are so considerate, even if it means they can't be totally open. For better or worse, there is a good side to that. And I appreciated that because maybe, just like my friend, maybe people in Japan, they yearn for that grass is greener on the other side of people being more open, people being more go-getters. I appreciated more of just the human aspect of being nice, being considerate of one another, just because it's the right thing to do. It doesn't matter if it doesn't benefit you or not. You should do the right thing, dude. And that is something that Japan, and I guess that you need to find a common ground, and that's the problem. Can you actually find common ground with people? Is there any society that actually does that? I don't fucking know, but I enjoyed that part of Japan. And again, it's kind of sad. And it's kind of awesome in a way, because you just think, like, man, you just go out on the street, and as long as you don't hurt anybody, as long as you're not really trying to fuck anyone, you can just do whatever you want. Again, maybe it's sad, and maybe it's awesome in a way. You see, like, the drastic contrast of, like, kids are so happy, and then once they start going to school, kids get responsibility really early in Japan, right? And so then they start losing their energy, and then they got to go to work. And as my friend said, once you leave high school, like, the dream of Japan is in your high school, because then everyone feels their life is over. Then you're working all the time. You have no life anymore. So, this dream of everyone has the Peter Pan syndrome there. I guess he was saying, you know what I mean? But hey, doesn't everyone to their own extent, right? Maybe Japan has their own way of honestly coping with it, right? For better or worse. There's better things than their good thing. But for me, a lot of that kind of thing was refreshing. To think that, and this stuff happens in America too, obviously. People, oh, hey, here's my friend, you know what I mean? Oh, he's my friend, but maybe I just sucked him off, you know what I mean? Where the fuck we're doing? Oh, I have this girlfriend. Oh, wait, people cheat, whatever. People are not perfect. But maybe in America they might lie about it. They might give it a stupid excuse. They might actually blame the other person, or makes up some kind of lie to justify them being a go-getter, right? Whereas in Japan, when the person maybe is a go-getter, maybe this is kind of a weird way of saying it, right? Like, oh, hey, I have this relationship, but man, I have this other need. Man, I'm gonna go out and fuck a bunch of girls in the city tonight. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna live life, and then I'm gonna go back, and you're gonna know that I still appreciate this interaction I have with you, but I have this other interaction I need to do, and we don't need to lie about why we're doing it. We know why we're doing it, because as a human being, we all have certain things we're doing. We're all considerate of each other in our own ways. So you knew I did this. Maybe you did something, but we're still together. Everyone's like this society. Again, I don't know if you get what I'm getting at, because people do this in America too. Hell, there's open relationships in America too. But I just think, I guess they go about it in different ways, and there's just this kind of like gentle freedom with maybe a little bit of sadness in it when you like think about it in Japan. Do you get what I'm kind of trying to say? It's really interesting. Like I said, I appreciated it because I'm not again, some people think that I am, you know what I mean? But I'm not, you know what I mean? Like some alpha. I do have my own kind of like, I'm my own dude, but that's not me that I'm an alpha kind of dude. I'm just my own dude. I don't care about like fighting about bullshit with people. You know what I mean? So that's why I stay to myself. You know what I mean? And I'm totally fine with, again, I guess this would make me very Japanese because I'm totally fine with a blunt conversation. I can be totally blunt, but the thing is, I can be totally blunt with someone with like no hard feelings per se. I'm just a totally honest person. There's no bad vibe. This is just me, dude. Take it or leave it, dude. There's no bad vibe. I'm just a very honest person about all of this, right? Accept it, right? Anyway, I just think Japan, I just think about like, man, I just felt like the kind of like gentle, sad kind of freedom of Japan. Just like, don't hurt anyone. Whatever you're doing, as long as you're not trying to fuck someone, do whatever you do, dude. You can fall asleep in the middle of the street. You see all these like, you want to go fuck some young girls or something like that. Hey, maybe they want to go get fucked too. Who knows, dude? You just do it. You're not hurting anyone, right? No, you're not. It's like, okay, dude. You're cleaning up the trash because we don't like trash in Japan. Cool. You're cleaning up your trash, right? You guys, after you have sex, you're gonna clean up your trash, right? Okay, cool. Then you're gonna come home. It's gonna be cool. I just think, just don't hurt anybody. Everything's cool. Again, maybe in society this hurts things for certain ways because maybe some certain people, again, the go-getter thing, maybe you're not being as creative, whatever. But and maybe in America there's too much of the other side, right? Maybe there's got to be that balance. But I can tell you, again, as someone that has lived in America a long time, I appreciated the baitiness. I appreciated the baitiness, right? I appreciated that kind of docile niceness, whatever, just doing it because it was the right thing to do. Because people don't really act like that in America. When you do act like that, that's very rare. And a lot of times when you do act like that, then people think you have a ulterior motive, and it just breeds hate. Maybe if I lived in Japan, the grass would be, greener. If like, oh man, America. And it's like, dude, can this person just tell me fuck you? You know what I mean? It's like, oh god, just like, I don't know, just tell me what the fuck you're really thinking, right? You know what I mean? But I don't know if you get what I'm getting. I guess so. In my own way, I'm not either for America or Japan, but I appreciate both sides. Does that make sense? I don't know. This video's long, dude. The end.